Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Jill returns and turns Billy and Kane's world upside down. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, has only been a face and voice on a video screen in recent months. But that's about to change as Walton returns to the set on Y&R. Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? Billy Abbott's, Jason Thompson, latest flailing has caused Jill great consternation. She can't believe that her son is so hurt by her selling Chancellor to Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, that he would put himself in the mustache's crosshairs. Yet, that's what he's done. Meanwhile, the man Jill thinks of as a son, Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, can also use motherly care. Walton's iconic character, who dates back to this show's origin in the 1970s, needs to help him get out of a soapy hole he dug as well. The great Jill Abbott returns to Genoa City, Wisconsin. Walton is one of the great actors in this show's history. While she isn't the original actor to portray Jill, Walton made the role her own through many years of indelible performances. Jill's legendary battles with Catherine Chancellor, Jean Cooper, will forever remain part of this show's lore. Newer fans learned of that history through retrospective scenes showing Jill and Catherine going at it in moments that were tense, hilarious, and forever memorable. What is this? Billy needs his mother even though he would vehemently dispute that assertion. His admission to Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinle, that he wants to get back at Jill for selling Chancellor to Victor solidifies Sally Spectra's, Courtney Hope, fear that Billy is overboard. Kane Ashby also needs to be mothered. It would be nice if Kane's biological mother, Genevieve Atkinson, portrayed by the legendary Jeannie Francis, Laura Collins on General Hospital, hadn't been seen in years. Daniel Goddard, Kane, was working through his long run when Francis joined the late Tristan Rogers, Colin Atkinson, on Y&R in 2011 and 2012. While Kane was recently with his father, shortly before and through Colin's death, no sighting of Genevieve has happened. Of course, Francis' presence on GH makes Genevieve's return unlikely because she is the only actor to portray this character. So, a recast would be needed. Filling the gap is Jill, who was conned into believing Kane was her son when this character initially debuted. That ruse was exposed. Yet it didn't create permanent damage, and Kane came to think of her as a mother, partly because Francis' character didn't have that skill. With all that's happened, Kane needs advice, especially regarding his family. Jill is fond of Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, and will offer sound advice regarding reconciliation efforts. Billy Abbott still has a chance. Billy was talking to himself in a bizarre sequence before Jack and Victoria's arrival. While their talk didn't change Billy's mind, it did provide another out opportunity. What is this? Later, Kane called Billy and told him he was not proceeding with the plan and wouldn't give him the artificial intelligence tool to use against Victor. That happened because of a conversation Kane had with Lily. So, Billy still has a chance to pull himself back. But viewers know that Thompson's character has gone gambler mode and always seems to find a way to sabotage any progress he's made or goodwill he's earned with his loved ones. That makes Jill's pending arrival vital at this point in the plot. This site is a leading source for everything linked to The Young and the Restless. Check back regularly for Y&R spoilers and news. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Jill returns and turns Billy and Kane's world upside down. In Genoa City, returns always come with baggage, and when the name in question is Jill Abbott, fans know the drama is about to hit seismic levels. Jill's reappearance is set to send shockwaves through Billy and Kane's already complicated lives, leaving everyone in her path scrambling to regain control. Jill Abbott is a character who never tiptoes into town quietly. She storms in with a plan, a motive, and usually a few bombs to drop. Her latest comeback promises to shake the very foundation of the Abbott family, Chancellor Winters, and the uneasy truce that exists between Billy and Kane. What begins as a power play could quickly spiral into a personal war that tests loyalties, stirs up old resentments, and reignites rivalries that fans thought had simmered down. Jill has long been a powerhouse of both charm and manipulation. She knows how to command a room and has spent decades honing her ability to pull strings while making others believe it was their choice all along. Her track record with Billy speaks for itself. Every time she re-enters his life, she forces him to confront parts of himself he'd rather leave buried. Whether it's his battle with addiction, his reckless tendencies, or his inability to maintain healthy relationships, Jill often shows up with tough love that borders on overbearing. But Jill isn't just a thorn in Billy's side, she has a deep connection with Kane, and their history is riddled with both grudges and unspoken truths. Her return threatens to reopen wounds that never fully healed. For Billy, the timing of Jill's return couldn't be worse. He's been carving out a space for himself at Chancellor Winters, trying to prove his worth as both a businessman and an abbot's son capable of leadership. However, Billy's personal life is never simple, and with recent setbacks, he's barely keeping his balance. Jill's sharp tongue and high expectations may push him into a corner, forcing him to either rise to the occasion or rebel against her influence altogether. Jill has always wanted the best for Billy, but her version of the best rarely aligns with his. As a result, Billy may soon find himself torn between proving himself to his mother and pursuing his own sense of independence, even if that means burning bridges. Meanwhile, Kane has been trying to stay out of the spotlight, keeping his focus on his children and attempting to live a quieter, less scandal-ridden life. But Jill's reappearance brings him right back into the fray. Kane's history with Jill is tangled. She once trusted him, even defended him at times, but their bond was fractured by deception, betrayal, and his questionable decisions during his marriage to Lily. Now, Jill's determination to reassert herself at Chancellor Winters may put Kane in her crosshairs again. She could either decide to back him up, using him as an ally against Billy, or she might expose him in ways that destroy the careful balance he's tried to maintain. With Jill, nothing is ever predictable. One of the juiciest aspects of Jill's return is the inevitable clash between Billy and Kane. Their rivalry has never fully disappeared, even if time and circumstances force them into uneasy truces. Jill's presence may reignite that rivalry, especially if she pits them against each other in a power struggle. She has been known to play chess with the people in her life, testing them to see who rises and who crumbles. If Jill pushes Billy and Kane into direct conflict, the fallout could extend far beyond boardroom battles. Old grudges might resurface, and their personal histories with Jill could lead to explosive confrontations. But it's not just Billy and Kane who will feel the aftershocks of Jill's return. The Abbott family as a whole will have to contend with her presence. Jill has a knack for uncovering secrets, stirring up tensions, and questioning everyone's decisions. She's never been afraid to take on Victor Newman, Jack Abbott, or Catherine Chancellor back in the day, which means no one is safe when she sets her mind to something. Jill could easily uncover hidden alliances, expose weaknesses, and force the younger generation of Abbotts and Chancellors to take sides. For fans, Jill's return is exciting because it brings an unpredictable element back into play. Jess Walton's portrayal of Jill has always balanced cunning with vulnerability, making her one of the most dynamic characters in Y&R history. Viewers know that when Jill shows up, she'll bring sass, biting one-liners, and a refusal to back down from anyone, not even Victor himself. Her presence guarantees high-stakes drama, especially when combined with Billy's volatility and Kane's complicated past. Speculation is already swirling about what Jill's true agenda might be. Could she be coming back to reclaim control of Chancellor Winters, feeling that her legacy is being mismanaged? Perhaps she's arriving with knowledge of a secret that could change everything for Billy, Kane, or even Devon and Lily. There's also the possibility that Jill has personal motives tied to her own relationships, whether romantic or familial, that will throw Genoa City into chaos. Whatever her reasons, one thing is certain, Jill never comes back without a plan, and her plans usually leave a trail of wreckage behind. Billy and Kane are on the front lines of Jill's latest storm, and fans should prepare for emotional showdowns, power plays, and betrayals. Billy may find himself questioning his future at Chancellor Winters and whether he can ever escape his mother's shadow. Kane might be pulled into battles he doesn't want to fight, forced to defend himself against accusations or temptations. And Jill? She'll sit back with her signature smirk, knowing she's holding all the cards. The beauty of Jill's character is that she's not entirely villainous nor entirely heroic. She operates in shades of gray, often making decisions that serve her interests while still claiming to protect her family. This duality keeps fans invested, because just when you think Jill is about to deliver a ruthless blow, she reveals her softer side and reminds us that her actions, however misguided, are rooted in love. That complexity will no doubt color her interactions with Billy and Kane, leaving viewers torn between rooting for her and fearing her. As The Young and the Restless gears up for Jill's return, audiences can expect Genoa City to transform into a battlefield of wills. Long-buried resentments, shocking revelations, and family drama will dominate the canvas. Billy and Kane's worlds are about to be turned upside down, and Jill will be at the center of it all, orchestrating chaos with her trademark blend of fierceness and finesse. One thing's for sure, in the weeks ahead, Genoa City won't know what hit it. And fans wouldn't have it any other way. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Jill returns and turns Billy and Kane's world upside down. When it comes to Genoa City, there are certain names that strike both fear and excitement in equal measure, and Jill Abbott sits firmly at the top of that list. The fiery, cunning, and ever-determined powerhouse has made an unforgettable mark on The Young and the Restless across decades, and every time she makes her grand return, it's with a splash. This time around, Jill's comeback promises to be nothing short of explosive, with her sights set on shaking up the lives of Billy Abbott and Kane Ashby in ways that will alter the very dynamics of Chancellor Winters, the Abbott family, and beyond. Jill has always had a gift for creating storms, but this particular return feels different. She's not just coming back to reconnect, she's coming back to reclaim control, enforce her vision, and make sure everyone knows that the matriarch still has the sharpest claws in town. Billy Abbott has been trying to reinvent himself once again, a challenge that is easier said than done given his history of self-sabotage, impulsive decisions, and personal demons. His attempts to prove his worth at Chancellor Winters have been rocky at best, and Jill knows it. Jill loves her son fiercely, but she's never been one to coddle him. Instead, she pushes him, sometimes too hard, believing that tough love is the only way he'll ever rise to his true potential. Yet, with Billy at such a fragile crossroads, Jill's approach may backfire. Her relentless demands could push him back toward destructive tendencies, reawakening old rivalries with Jack, stirring tension with Lily, and pulling him away from the fragile stability he's tried to build. Billy thrives on risk and thrives on drama, but with Jill in the picture, the pressure may be too much. Will her presence spark Billy's ultimate rise as a leader, or will it destroy his progress and leave him spiraling once more? Meanwhile, Kane Ashby has been working hard to step out of the shadows of his past. He's kept a relatively low profile, focusing on his children and rebuilding his reputation after years of mistakes, scandals, and heartbreaks. For Kane, Jill's return is like a storm he hoped never to face again. Their bond has always been layered with complexity. Jill once trusted him implicitly, treating him like family, but his betrayals and questionable choices left their relationship scarred. Jill has never forgotten Kane's potential, but she's also never forgiven him fully for the pain he caused. With her stepping back into Chancellor Winters and inevitably crossing paths with Kane, the old wounds are about to reopen. Jill might demand more of him than he's willing to give or expose parts of his past he'd prefer to keep buried. Kane knows Jill well enough to understand that she doesn't show up without an agenda, and this agenda may put him right in the middle of a war he doesn't want to fight. Adding more tension to the already brewing storm is the inevitable rivalry between Billy and Kane. Though the two have often been forced into uneasy truces, their history of clashing is legendary. Both men have competed for respect, power, and even love, and with Jill's return, the simmering tension could boil over. Jill has a way of playing people against one another, whether intentionally or not, and Billy and Kane are prime candidates for her games. If she pits them against each other at Chancellor Winters or within the Abbott orbit, the fallout could be catastrophic. Business wars could easily bleed into personal vendettas, sparking confrontations that leave both men vulnerable. Fans know the combustible chemistry between Billy and Kane guarantees drama whenever they share scenes, and Jill's return provides the perfect match to light that fire once again. Beyond Billy and Kane, Jill's presence threatens to ripple across Genoa City as a whole. Chancellor Winters has been a source of ambition, betrayal, and high-stakes maneuvering, and Jill's instinct to protect her legacy will lead her straight into the heart of its conflicts. Devon and Lily may find themselves caught in the crosshairs, forced to deal with Jill's domineering style and refusal to compromise. She could unearth secrets that destabilize the company or question leadership decisions that leave the younger generation scrambling to defend themselves. Jill has never been afraid to call out what she sees as incompetence, even if it comes from her own family, and her sharp tongue is bound to stir resentment and push people to their limits. For longtime fans, the excitement of Jill's return lies in the unpredictable chaos she creates. Jess Walton embodies Jill with such fire and authenticity that every entrance feels like a statement. Jill doesn't just reappear, she commands. Whether she's trading barbs with Victor Newman, challenging Jack Abbott, or dismantling Billy's excuses, she never fails to bring a mix of power and vulnerability that makes her compelling to watch. This latest return is no exception, and viewers are bracing for the fireworks. Speculation is rampant about Jill's true motives. Could she be returning to seize full control of Chancellor Winters, believing Devon, Lily, and Billy are fumbling the company's future? Or is there an even juicier secret that Jill is carrying, something that could shake not only Billy and Kane's lives but the wider canvas of Genoa City? Perhaps she's holding on to knowledge about an alliance, a betrayal, or even a family revelation that will change everything. Whatever the case, fans know Jill never steps onto the stage without a purpose, and her purposes usually leave nothing but upheaval in their wake. The emotional core of this storyline will center on the clash between mother and son, mentor and adversary, past and present. Jill wants control, Billy craves freedom, and Kane simply wants peace. But in Genoa City, peace is always short-lived. Jill's determination to steer both men in the direction she believes is best may instead pull them further apart, setting off explosive showdowns that ripple through their families, their careers, and their identities. The Young and the Restless thrives on multi-generational drama, and Jill's return epitomizes that tradition. Her presence ties together decades of history while igniting new rivalries and resurrecting old feuds. Viewers can expect heated boardroom battles, family confrontations dripping with emotional scars, and shocking revelations that leave fans on the edge of their seats. Jill Abbott is back, and Billy and Kane are about to find out that when Jill decides to shake things up, no one is left unscathed. In the end, Jill's return isn't just a storyline, it's a reminder of what makes Y&R so enduring. It's about legacies clashing, families breaking and mending, and the eternal question of whether we can ever escape the shadows of our past. For Billy and Kane, the answer may be a resounding no, especially with Jill back in town to make sure of it. Genoa City better brace itself, because Jill Abbott is home, and nothing will ever be the same again. The great Jill Abbott returns to Genoa City, Wisconsin. The Young and the Restless is never short on twists, shocks, and comebacks, but when Jill Abbott returns to Genoa City, Wisconsin, it is more than just a homecoming, it is a full-blown event. Jill's presence in town changes everything. For decades, she has been one of the most complicated, fiery, and formidable women to ever walk the streets of Genoa City. When she shows up, hearts race, tensions rise, and families brace themselves for the storm she inevitably brings. This return is no exception. In fact, it feels like a defining moment in the legacy of the Abbott family and the broader canvas of Chancellor Winters. Jill isn't just another character, she's an institution. Her arrival means unfinished business will finally surface, hidden agendas will come to light, and relationships will be tested in ways that leave Genoa City shaken to its core. Jill Abbott has always thrived on reinvention. From her earliest days clashing with Catherine Chancellor to her romantic entanglements and battles over power and legacy, Jill has proven that she is not someone who can ever be underestimated. She may leave town for a while, but she always returns stronger, wiser, and with more fire in her belly. Genoa City residents know this all too well. Whenever Jill reappears, she carries with her an agenda, sometimes personal, sometimes professional, but always impactful. This time around, her return to Wisconsin signals more than nostalgia. Jill has unfinished battles, and her eye is set firmly on the people and institutions she built, nurtured, and fought for. Billy Abbott, her son, is at the center of Jill's world, and her return places him directly under her microscope. Billy has tried countless times to step out from Jill's shadow and prove himself, but he is constantly pulled back by his self-destructive tendencies, his gambling, and his inability to balance ambition with responsibility. Jill knows her son better than anyone, and she has no problem calling him out when he slips. Billy may think he's finally found stable footing, but Jill's sharp tongue and unrelenting expectations are bound to shake his confidence. Fans know that Jill's brand of tough love can sometimes veer into smothering, and with Billy already feeling the weight of Chancellor Winters and family drama, Jill's arrival could be the spark that either pushes him to greatness or sends him spiraling. Meanwhile, Kane Ashby is another figure who will inevitably be drawn into Jill's orbit. Kane has spent years trying to rebuild his life after scandals, lies, and heartbreaks tore him apart. His once promising marriage to Lily dissolved, his reputation was scarred, and his role in Genoa City diminished. But Kane is nothing if not resilient, and he has quietly tried to regain some measure of dignity. Jill's return threatens to disrupt his fragile peace. Their history is complicated. Jill once treated Kane like a son, but his betrayals left scars. Her reappearance forces him to confront not only his past but also the choices he has made to escape it. Will Jill see Kane as an ally or as a liability? The answer could determine whether Kane finds redemption or falls further into obscurity. The dynamic between Billy and Kane is one that Jill has always influenced, even indirectly. These two men have spent years circling each other with rivalry, resentment, and grudging respect. Jill's arrival will undoubtedly put them back in the same ring. Whether she pits them against one another or inadvertently forces them to work together, the drama between Billy and Kane will explode with Jill back in town. Fans are already anticipating heated confrontations, old wounds reopened, and shocking revelations that could shift the balance of power in ways no one sees coming. Chancellor Winters, the company Jill helped build and protect, also looms large in her return. Devon, Lily, Billy, and Nate have all been struggling to keep the company afloat amid internal conflicts and power struggles. Jill has always been fiercely protective of Catherine Chancellor's legacy, and if she believes anyone is threatening that, she won't hesitate to step in. Her business acumen, matched with her ruthless determination, makes her a force to be reckoned with. Devon and Lily may believe they're in control, but Jill's arrival could remind them that the foundation they're standing on is one she helped lay. Whether she decides to support them or undermine them remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, her influence will reshape the direction of Chancellor Winters. Beyond business and family, Jill's return has ripple effects throughout Genoa City. Her history with Victor Newman, Jack Abbott, and other power players means she's bound to ruffle feathers and stir old rivalries. Jill has never been afraid to go toe-to-toe with the titans of Genoa City, and her return could reignite battles that fans thought were long over. Her sharp wit, biting one-liners, and refusal to back down guarantee that her presence will dominate storylines in the weeks to come. What makes Jill Abbott such a compelling character is her duality. She is both ruthless and vulnerable, a woman who manipulates and schemes but also loves deeply and fiercely. Her complicated relationships, with her children, her lovers, and her rivals, make her unpredictable. Fans may cheer when she dismantles someone's arrogance, only to gasp when she exposes her own wounds. Jess Walton's portrayal gives Jill a richness that few characters can match, and every return reminds audiences why she is a cornerstone of The Young and the Restless. Speculation about Jill's latest agenda is already swirling. Is she back to seize full control of Chancellor Winters, believing the younger generation is mishandling it? Does she carry a secret that could change Billy's or Kane's lives forever? Could she even be returning with a personal health battle or romantic twist that reframes her story entirely? The mystery surrounding her comeback makes her presence even more tantalizing. Jill doesn't show her hand until she's ready, and by then, it's usually too late for anyone to stop her. For Genoa City, Jill's return is more than just another storyline, it's a seismic shift. Her presence forces characters to confront truths they've avoided, challenges the power structures in place, and reminds everyone that legacies are not easily erased. Billy, Kane, Devon, and Lily will all feel the heat of her presence, but so will the rest of the Abbott family and even the Newman Empire. Jill has the ability to turn the entire town upside down with one well-timed move, and that's exactly why her return matters. The great Jill Abbott returns to Genoa City, Wisconsin, not as a visitor but as a force of nature. She comes with a mission, with unfinished business, and with the kind of fire that guarantees high-stakes drama. Fans should prepare for confrontations that leave families divided, shocking revelations that shake alliances, and emotional showdowns that cut to the core of decades-long histories. Jill Abbott is back, and Genoa City will never be the same again. Kane Ashby also needs to be mothered. In Genoa City, few characters embody the combination of charm, resilience, and vulnerability quite like Kane Ashby. Over the years, viewers of The Young and the Restless have watched Kane evolve from a mysterious newcomer with questionable motives into a man who has struggled with love, fatherhood, business, and redemption. Yet through it all, there has always been a lingering truth: Kane Ashby, for all his bravado and charm, is a man who also needs to be mothered. This doesn't mean Kane is weak, rather, it reflects the complexity of his character. For every moment of strength, there is an undercurrent of longing for guidance, for stability, and for the unconditional love that only a maternal figure can provide. In many ways, Kane's need for nurturing has shaped his choices, his relationships, and his path through Genoa City. Kane's journey on The Young and the Restless has never been straightforward. From his early deception involving Philip Chancellor III to his tumultuous marriage to Lily Winters, Kane has always walked a fine line between success and self-destruction. While his love for Lily was genuine, his inability to be fully honest and his tendency to make desperate decisions often sabotaged his happiness. Beneath that, however, was a man searching for belonging. Kane's outsider status in Genoa City left him craving acceptance, and when he did find it, whether through Catherine Chancellor's kindness, Jill Abbott's loyalty, or Lily's devotion, it often came with strings attached. Each of these relationships filled the gap of maternal nurturing that Kane seemed to lack, even if only temporarily. Jill Abbott has been the closest thing Kane has had to a true mother in Genoa City. Though not biologically related, Jill embraced Kane and treated him as her own, at least for a time. She defended him, guided him, and believed in him when others doubted his intentions. But Jill's love, like much of her personality, came with intensity and expectations. She demanded loyalty, responsibility, and results. For Kane, Jill was both a comfort and a challenge. She offered the maternal support he craved but also forced him to measure up to her high standards. Their bond was one of the most unique in Y&R's history, a mix of affection, trust, and inevitable disappointment whenever Kane stumbled. Jill's influence on Kane cannot be overstated, and her return to Genoa City inevitably stirs his longing for that nurturing presence. Kane's need to be mothered also played out in his relationship with Catherine Chancellor. Catherine, with her wisdom and formidable presence, often acted as a surrogate maternal figure to many in Genoa City, and Kane was no exception. She saw past his mistakes and offered guidance when he needed it most. Catherine's death left a void in Kane's life, one he has never truly filled. Without her steady hand, Kane drifted, making decisions that often alienated those closest to him. Catherine provided not just advice but also unconditional acceptance, something Kane has always sought but rarely received. In her absence, Kane's vulnerability has been more pronounced, and his need for nurturing more apparent. Even in his marriage to Lily, Kane's desire to be mothered revealed itself. Lily was his partner, his equal, and at times his anchor. Yet there were moments when Kane leaned on her not just as a wife but as someone to guide him, to nurture him, and to help him course correct. Their love story was passionate and deeply emotional, but it also highlighted Kane's tendency to rely on strong women to ground him. Lily gave him strength, but she also carried the burden of his flaws, and eventually, their marriage collapsed under the weight of his repeated mistakes. For Kane, losing Lily was not just the loss of a partner but the loss of a figure who gave him both love and the kind of maternal support he gravitated toward. Kane's children, Maddie and Charlie, also add complexity to his story. As a father, Kane has tried to rise above his flaws, to be the man his children could look up to. Yet even in fatherhood, his insecurities shine through. He often questions whether he is enough, whether he is capable of being both strong and nurturing. Ironically, while Kane strives to mother his children, he simultaneously seeks that same kind of nurturing from others. His parenting journey is marked by love, but it also reflects his own yearning for stability. Kane's need to be mothered is cyclical. He gives what he doesn't always feel he has, creating a tension that defines his role as both father and man. The theme of Kane needing to be mothered resonates because it speaks to his fundamental humanity. He is not just a schemer, not just a lover, not just a businessman, he is a man with vulnerabilities that mirror those of real people. His need for maternal nurturing doesn't diminish his masculinity, instead, it enriches his character by showing the cracks beneath the surface. Kane wants to be loved unconditionally, to be guided, to be reassured that his worth isn't solely defined by his mistakes. This longing drives his storylines and keeps fans invested in his journey. Speculation about Kane's future always circles back to who will fill that maternal void in his life. With Jill Abbott back in town, there is potential for their relationship to reignite, offering Kane both support and conflict. Jill's no-nonsense approach could either help Kane find his footing again or push him further into the shadows if he fails to meet her expectations. Another possibility is that Kane could find maternal nurturing in unexpected places, perhaps through friendships with characters like Sharon, who has often taken on a guiding role for those in need, or even Nikki Newman, who has weathered storms of her own and might recognize the vulnerability in Kane. Wherever it comes from, Kane's need to be mothered will remain a defining element of his story. In Genoa City, where power, rivalry, and betrayal dominate, Kane Ashby's vulnerability makes him stand out. He is not invincible. He is not untouchable. He is a man who longs for guidance, for unconditional support, and for a place where he truly belongs. The great Jill Abbott may return to Mother Billy, but Kane is just as much in need of that guiding hand. His future will depend on whether he can find that nurturing presence once again, or whether he can finally learn to mother himself, stepping out of the shadows of his past and embracing the man he was always meant to be. Kane Ashby also needs to be mothered, and that simple truth might be the key to unlocking the next chapter of his complicated but unforgettable journey in Genoa City. Billy Abbott still has a chance. In Genoa City, there are few characters as polarizing, complex, and unpredictable as Billy Abbott. The Young and the Restless has long used Billy as a canvas to explore themes of redemption, failure, and the eternal struggle between self-destruction and self-discovery. He is a man who has lived 1,000 lives within one lifetime, devoted son, reckless gambler, troubled husband, and reluctant businessman. Yet through all the chaos, heartbreak, and mistakes, one truth continues to emerge: Billy Abbott still has a chance. No matter how many times he falls, he always finds a way to stand back up. His resilience, his vulnerability, and his ability to reinvent himself are the very traits that keep him central to Genoa City's ongoing drama. Billy Abbott's journey has always been defined by duality. On one hand, he is an Abbott, born into privilege, opportunity, and legacy. On the other, he is the black sheep, forever compared to his brother Jack and falling short of the expectations that come with the family name. This tension has shaped every chapter of his life. Billy often rebels against the pressures of being an abbot, only to find himself pulled back by his love for his family and his desperate need to prove that he belongs. His story is one of constant contradiction, ambitious yet self-sabotaging, loving yet reckless, capable yet unstable. And it is this contradiction that makes fans continue to root for him, even when his actions test their patience. Billy's greatest struggles have always stemmed from his addictions. His gambling, his reckless behavior, and his tendency to seek thrills at the expense of stability have cost him dearly. He has lost marriages, businesses, and the trust of those he loves most. Yet Billy's addictions are not just vices, they are symptoms of his inner turmoil, of his desperate search for identity and fulfillment. What makes Billy compelling is that he is painfully human. His flaws are visible, his mistakes public, and his pain raw. Unlike some characters who hide behind power or manipulation, Billy lays his scars bare, and in doing so, he invites both sympathy and frustration. But even in his darkest moments, there is always a flicker of hope, a reminder that redemption is possible. One of the most defining aspects of Billy's story has been his relationships. From Victoria Newman to Chelsea Lawson, from Phyllis Summers to Lily Winters, Billy's love life has been a roller coaster of passion, betrayal, and heartbreak. Each woman has seen a different side of him, the devoted partner, the reckless thrill seeker, the wounded soul. Victoria, perhaps more than anyone, has been both his greatest love and his greatest challenge. Their connection runs deep, rooted in history, children, and undeniable chemistry. Yet their relationship has also been marked by mistrust, betrayal, and cycles of hope and despair. With Lily, Billy found stability for a time, but his restless nature eventually created cracks that widened into irreparable distance. Billy's relationships reflect his internal conflict. He craves love and stability but fears confinement and failure. Still, the possibility remains that Billy can find the balance he seeks, that he can embrace love without destroying it. In the business world, Billy has often been underestimated. His impulsive nature and clashes with Jack and other power players have painted him as reckless. Yet time and again, Billy has proven that he is capable of brilliance. His instincts are sharp, his creativity undeniable, and his courage unmatched. When he applies himself, Billy can outmaneuver even the most seasoned rivals. His role at Chancellor Winters has given him a new arena to showcase his abilities, but it has also placed him under immense pressure. The question is whether Billy can rise above his insecurities and prove himself not just to others, but to himself. If he can channel his energy into building. Family has always been both Billy's anchor and his Achilles heel. His bond with Jack is complicated, filled with love, rivalry, and disappointment. Jack often sees Billy as the wayward brother, the one who can't quite live up to the family standard. Yet Jack also loves him deeply and has fought countless battles to protect him. Jill, his mother, has been equally complicated in her influence. Her tough love has sometimes pushed Billy to excel but has also left him feeling inadequate. Despite these tensions, Billy's connection to his family remains unshakable. It is his love for his children, Johnny and Katie, that grounds him the most. As a father, Billy is fiercely devoted, and his children give him purpose. They are the reason he continues to fight his demons and strive for a better future. Billy's chance at redemption lies not in erasing his past but in embracing it. His mistakes have shaped him, but they do not define him. He has the opportunity to take everything he has learned, the pain, the loss, the triumphs, and use it to forge a new path. Fans know that Billy is capable of growth because they have seen glimpses of it. When he is at his best, he is compassionate, intelligent, and inspiring. He can be the man who leads, who loves selflessly, and who creates rather than destroys. The challenge is whether he can sustain that growth and resist the temptations that have always pulled him back. Speculation about Billy's future is constant among fans. Will he reunite with Victoria, reigniting their fiery but unstable love? Will he find a new partner who understands his complexity? Will he finally step into his full potential at Chancellor Winters, proving himself as more than the family black sheep? Or will he fall once more, forcing those who love him to pick up the pieces? Whatever path Billy takes, one thing is certain, his story is far from over. Billy Abbott still has a chance because he is, at his core, a survivor. He has been knocked down more times than anyone can count, but he always gets back up. His resilience is his greatest strength, and it is what makes fans believe in him, even when he falters. Billy's journey is a reminder that redemption is never out of reach, that second chances are always possible, and that even the most flawed characters can find their way to greatness. In Genoa City, where power, betrayal, and ambition dominate, Billy Abbott stands out as a man who refuses to give up on himself, even when others do. He may stumble, he may fall, but he will never stop fighting for his place in the world. And that is why Billy Abbott, against all odds, still has a chance.